Welcome to the Soulfire Podcast, where every day we talk about real life, real shit, real raw. On this show, you can expect us to dive deep into topics like marriage, parenting, money, business, feeling like you want to give up, fighting for yourself, just straight soul healing. This podcast is all about life. Hey there, it's Power Coach Alishia here, your source of fun, funny, exciting, entertaining, and educational life coaching, transformational speaking, and soul healing. We're talking about setting your soul on fire. I specialize in helping women put themselves first without feeling guilty, getting out of their own way, and finding themselves again. No fluff, no hand-holding, no bullshit here, just love, light, and peace as we journey through this thing called life. So you know when you are in a disagreement with someone and you feel like that conversation has gotten to a stopping point, but then either you still feel upset or they still feel upset, so you just keep going and going and going. Or you feel like there's so much more that you need to do in order to make them feel better. You know how that goes? Well, today I want to talk about managing other people's emotions and that thought process behind it, or making them manage yours. Because when you go through, I would say growth points with people, whatever type of relationship that it is, we've kind of been conditioned that if someone's still upset, you didn't do a good enough job. You didn't make them feel better. Right? And so that there's a lot more that you need to do in order for them to feel better about this situation. But you're never really taught that your emotions and their emotions are separated. Yours are yours to heal through and to feel better, and theirs are theirs to heal through to feel better. When I was younger, I would always be in a cycle of destruction in conversations in like love relationships if we got in a fight, right? And it would just be ridiculous because I would still be upset. That person had done everything that they could in that moment to, make it right and to take ownership or whatever it was, or maybe they weren't or whatever, but I would still be upset. And so because I was still upset, I kept going and I would get more and more frustrated because what they were saying and doing wasn't making me feel better. I was still feeling extremely fucking frustrated about it all. But as I started to do my soul work and go on journey and like dive deeper into who I wanted to be, how I wanted to show up, how I wanted to feel, what I wanted people to think about me, how I wanted people to feel when they were around me and all of those things, I realized that that's a big place from where cyclic destruction comes from. We're still not feeling good, even though there could be completeness to the conversation. And so we keep going because we want them to say or do something that's going to change the way that we feel. And so recently there was a situation that really fucking infuriated me. I mean, level 10 infuriation. I said what I had to say. I got the truth of the situation. Every bit of conversation that needed to be had around what happened was had. And when it was all done, I was still fucking infuriated. I did not feel any fucking better with the information that I had, the conversation that was had, any of it. And the truth was, I didn't feel better because I was still just fucking pissed, right? And rightly so. I had every right to be pissed. This person was 100% wrong. A blatant disregard for my feelings and complete disrespect for my space and things. So I had every right to be pissed. And I was. But instead of making this person who was 100% wrong beg and grovel and do everything they possibly could to make it right, they did what they did to own it and to make it better and to bring us to a common ground. And I appreciated that, yet I was still fucking pissed off. So I allowed myself to be pissed off about the topic while not allowing the pissed offery about the topic or the situation, I should say. I allowed myself to be pissed off about the situation, but I didn't allow myself to take that pissed offery into all the different areas. I let it be its isolated pissed offness. Now, the time that I'm recording this podcast, I'm still pretty fucking pissed. It's been a couple of weeks, but I'm still pissed. I'm not infuriated. I'm not in a level like that high, but I'm still like, that was so fucked up sort of energy. That's not a conversation that I need to have with that person. There's nothing that they need to say. There's not another apology or an action that needs to be taken or anything. There's nothing else for them to do because it's up to me to manage those emotions and I'm just letting myself feel them. Now, it's not like I'm taking it out on them or beating them up. I'm just allowing myself to still be pissed because rightly so, right? And it is dissipating on its own because everything has been worked out around the situation, like I said, but I'm still just feeling the way that I feel. So it is dissipating. Communication happened. I'm not holding it in. I'm not saying what I need to say. When it comes to managing emotions, managing your emotions, it's about emotional intelligence and being self-aware. It's not about what someone else says or does to make you feel better, because people can say and do everything they possibly can to make you feel better. And if you don't allow it or you're not ready to feel better, then nothing that they do is going to help that. So we go through life being upset and having people do the work to fix that. It's like, it comes from being a baby, a literal infant, right? As an infant, it is our job as parents to manage the emotions of that child up to a certain age, right? That's why 2-year-old, 3-year-old age is so hard, because at a 2 and 3-year-old, you're really, really, really instilling in them how to manage their own emotions. And they don't like it because they're defiant and they're pushing back and they want you to fix it like you've been fixing it for the last 2 years of their life. When they're hungry, when they're tired, when they have a dirty diaper, when they're frustrated, you've been coming in and fixing that. And then they get to this age where you teach, which I started more at 1 year old, like teaching self-sufficiency and taking own action and being aware of your surroundings and what other people are doing and what you need to do with yourself if someone else is busy. So I started teaching that at 1 year old with my youngest. But that's why you got the terrible 2s and like the unbearable 3s, is because if you're still attempting to manage their emotions at that age instead of teaching them how to deal with them, it's highly fucking turbulent. But if you're teaching them how to deal with those emotions on their own and that it's up to them to self-soothe those emotions while you support them, love them through that, and help them understand what's going on, it will make a world of difference. Now, if you send them off to deal with their emotions on their own because you just can't deal with it, or you're pissed off about it, or you're being really mean and rude about it, then yeah, that might cause them to be a little bit fucked up as they get older, and then they've got to work through those traumas. But if you do it in a way that's healthy for them and the relationship that you have with them, it's a beautiful, beautiful thing. But what happens is parents don't do that, right? You're still doing your best to manage their emotions. Now they're 10, 12, 15. Now we've got a fucking teenager where you're still doing your best to manage and control their emotions and make them feel better. And it's so fucking turbulent and stressful and frustrating. Or you feel bad because you can't and it's not working and you feel like it's your job and and it's causing all of this discontentment inside of you. And probably a lot of resentment from the child. And then they get older and they're still looking for people to manage their emotions. And so then we end up as adults in disagreements, disruptions, eruptions, and explosions, wanting that other person or people to manage our emotions and how we feel. And it's not until you do the work of emotional intelligence and being extremely self-aware that can shift. Because it's not anybody else's job to make you feel better. And it's not your job to make anyone else feel better. It's your job, like I said, to take ownership, to apologize if that is how you feel, to share what you're going to do better, what action you're going to take in the future, and to maybe appreciate that person for giving you this opportunity to grow with them. At that point, if you have hit those points of it, while also validating, understanding what they're saying, value, honoring, respecting where they're coming from, that the conversation's over. It's done. As long as you're on the same page and you completely understand each other and where each other's coming from, and you have that value, honor, and respect, even if you're pissed still, even if you're sad still, even if you're angry and infuriated still, that conversation is done. You continue, you go to cyclic destruction, right? So if you continue that conversation, it's just going to start cycling and you're going to start destroying each other. It wasn't until I learned that big black line is what can't be crossed in communication. Once the conversation gets to completeness, it must be over. It doesn't matter if the emotions, the feelings, and all of that is still there. That's for each of you to figure out how you're going to work through and release. And that's why it's important to have your hobbies. That's why it's important to have the tools and the processes and the things that you do for yourself that help you feel better and soul-centered, because you can take that frustration, that pissed offery, and the way that you're feeling after that conversation, and you can go and take action for yourself to release those emotions, find that peace, and calm yourself back down. Or maybe like in my situation that happened, you're just going to allow yourself to feel your feelings until they dissipate and run their course, while not allowing them to take over every other area of your life. And that is really fucking hard to do. As someone who wears their feelings on their sleeves, how they feel outright, to be fucking infuriated over a situation over here, while operating in forward in life and respect and happiness and peacefulness in a relationship on the other side, can be a very, very, very difficult thing to do. So maybe you won't be able to do that. Maybe you're going to be pissed off about this situation, and there's going to be a little bit of a, space and separation that you need from that person and people until you feel better. Because like I said, one of the hardest things to learn is how to feel your feelings about an isolated situation while not allowing those feelings to infect other positive situations. I was able to have the time of my life in a different situation while still being pissed about this one over here. That's what's really beautiful. Like, it was a really amazing realization to me that I was able to do that. I was like, that is so fucking cool. Confusing to the person that I was infuriated with over the situation. Because is she being fake? Like, what's going to happen? Like, when is it, when's she going to lose it again? What's going on? And so that was important for me to communicate, just so I'm still fucking pissed off about this. But I also realized we've said everything that we needed to say about it. We've gotten on the same page with it. We clearly understand each other and the situation. So I'm not just beating a dead horse, right? I'm allowing it to be what it is, but I still want you to know that I'm fucking pissed. And I don't need you to do anything. There's nothing you need to do, right? The conversation is complete. My feelings and emotions towards it just aren't yet, So it's that emotional intelligence. And so I want to talk a little bit about that. It's like you feel a way. This is where emotional intelligence and self-aware comes in. So self-aware, let's actually start there. Self-aware looks like you feel a way and you acknowledge and you know that you feel that way. And you know that because you feel that way, you are operating like outwardly, action, energy, words, tone, in the way that you're feeling. And in being self-aware, if you don't want to come across the way that you're feeling, upset, pissed off, angry, sad, frustrated, like you're not ready to come across that way, being self-aware goes, okay, well then what do I need to do with this? This is where emotional intelligence comes in. I'm feeling this way, and what do I need to do with this? Is this something I need to go and do and work through and on myself? And then maybe bring it to the table for a conversation of like, this is how I felt and it's like a past thing. Or is this something where I need to actually go have conversations and, talk to people because I'm feeling this way? Emotional intelligence is, what am I doing with the emotions that I have acknowledged and that I'm feeling, and where they came from and why they're there. Self-aware is acknowledging those emotions from the gate so that you know what the fuck is going on inside of you, so that you can make a decision of what you want to do with those emotions. So I would describe it like this. Being self-aware is noticing the emotions and analyzing them. Emotional intelligence is making a decision on what you want to do with those emotions and how you want to do that for the betterment of the entire situation for you and the other person or people. I'm an extremely self-aware and emotionally intelligent person. So I will tell you that when you do this work and you get in this space, and now it is a default of how you operate, you will find it extremely fucking annoying and disconnecting that other people don't operate like that. They don't. You will see clearly that majority of people have no clue about the way that they're acting, the way they're talking to you, the way they're treating you, about how they're feeling, because they work and live in automation, automatic. So the emotion comes up, it's there, boom, words are saying, feelings are had, move forward, full steam ahead. No time to be aware of them, to analyze them, where they're coming from, what happened, and then go, okay, what do I want to do with this? Hey, are you loving this? To get even more soul fire, soul healing products, and to download the free gifts that I have for you, go to soulfirepodcast.com. Again, that's soulfirepodcast.com. We live in a world where how we feel and our emotions is everyone else's fucking problem. And it's not true. It isn't everyone else's fucking problem. It's your problem. It's your issue. It's your actual opportunity, if you take it, for that self-growth, for that personal soul transformation. Most people, though, take it and it is a problem and it attaches to them. They get stuck in their shit and they spiral down into a big, deep depression. So when you get to this space of self-awareness and emotional intelligence and you look around you and a lot of the people, they don't obtain that, it's so fucking frustrating. Because as you operate in self-awareness and emotional intelligence, you're also having to explain to them that what you're saying and doing doesn't mean that you're mad and you don't care. It means that it's your burden to bear and you're going to work through this. It means that you realize that you have talked to them and discussed with them the part that that they play in that and where they come from with that, and that the rest of that is what you need to work through and what you're working on. But you were just letting them know that it felt that way or that they triggered something based on a past, trauma, demon, or burden or something that has happened to you. It's just the work that you're going to do. And it's really crazy when you step into an energy like that where someone triggers you and you're self-aware, like, okay, I'm feeling away. That's what I say. I'm feeling away. And then I ask myself, okay, what's going on? Where did this way come from, right? And then I start analyzing that. And then I go to the person and I say, hey, when you did this, like it like really, really, really impacted me. Like it triggered me greatly based on the actions that you took. And I'm letting you know this because I would appreciate in the future if blah, blah, blah. However, right now, the way that I'm feeling, I'm sad, I'm upset, I'm pissed, and whatever, this isn't your burden to bear because you didn't know that action would trigger, that trauma or that demon or that situation that happened in the past. The truth is that shows me that I have work to do in this area because something you did triggered that. But I also wanted to share that with you so you could just be mindful of that in the future. I'm not saying that this is your burden. I'm not saying this is anything that you need to work on or anything that you need to do. I'm also not even saying you need to apologize for that. Like that's totally your choice and your decision. I'm just letting you know this so that you know where I'm coming from, what's on my mind, what's on my heart, and what I'm going through based on what had happened. When you have a conversation like that with someone, when you are self-aware and emotionally intelligent, they have no fucking clue what to do with it. They usually come back and say, okay, so I get that you're really mad at me and you don't want to talk to me right now. No. See, that's them not being secure in themselves. That's them not understanding what emotional intelligence is and being self-aware. That's them being so ignorant to the concept because they haven't done the work here, that now you almost have to work harder to help them understand what it is you're fucking saying so that you can go do this work with yourself while they understand what's going on. It's actually really frustrating. It is. Because people receive it as a dismissal. They receive it as you being upset and not caring. They receive it as you being so upset at them that now you don't want to talk to them. They receive it as, because you're going to self-soothe and work through this on your own, that now you don't want them to be part of your life or whatever it is. And so I'm letting you know it's not the most amazing when we live in a world with people that are so full of managing other people's emotions and wanting them to manage ours. But if you just stick to it and you hold to that and you educate the people around you, they will learn to, like I always say, value, honor, and respect that in you. When you say, hey, this happened and it felt that way, and I just want you to be aware that it did this to me, and now I got a little bit of shit to work through here, but you didn't cause this. It came from a past situation that I've been through, and maybe I'll share that situation with you at another time, or maybe you share it with them right then, right? Whatever feels right for you. But I just want you to know that this isn't your burden to bear, but I'm just feeling a way about this. Then they will have so much more respect for you. Like, okay, I hear you. Is there anything that I can do to help you? Is there anything that I can do to make this better for you? What can I do to make sure that I don't do that in the future? Someone who is on a journey, that would be their response. Someone who has done work for themselves, that's where those responses start coming in. And when that happens, it feels so good, because it's like, oh, cool, they get me and they're holding space and they're supporting me through this. There is nothing more powerful than you being able to hold space for someone while they go through their shit, while they work through something, being there for them and supporting them through it. And when I say this, I do not mean somebody who is stuck somewhere. I mean someone who is actually working through something. There's nothing more beautiful than that. And nothing feels more amazing than when you're going through something and somebody holds space for that. Or they're there for you every step of the way and they offer advice and they're sharing with you from their perspective. And now this thing that you thought was just your burden, because this person is whole in themselves, they can actually be a strength for you, a foundation for you as you process through this, give you advice that you can utilize. It can become a really beautiful thing. But it all starts with you and being self-aware and then stepping into emotional intelligence. If there's anything that I can give to you from this episode, it's, how self-aware are you on a scale from 1 to 10? 10 is like hella fucking self-aware. Probably overly self-aware. On a scale from 1 to 10, how emotionally intelligent are you once you acknowledge how you're feeling to the steps that you're going to take to work through that and what the action is going to be? 1 is like not at all, right? And 10 is like so emotionally intelligent that you can literally feel a way and work through a way and never even have to have anybody else be involved. That can be a really bad thing. I'm going to say that, right? But I would rather have you at a high ranking in each of those. And the only thing that you need to learn to do is let someone know, hey, that triggered me, or like that bothered me. And, and this is why, because of something else somebody else did at a different time. And I've worked through that, but I just need you to know. So maybe in the future, you're a little bit more mindful of your actions, or I just need you to know, because I want to operate with you in your own space and in who you are, and not attach the bullshit that I've been through to you. But it's just going to take me a little bit of time to do that. So I appreciate your patience in this, being able to voice things like that is easier for you to learn than to live at a level 7, 8, 9, 10 in self-awareness and emotional intelligence on a day in and day out basis. The work that it takes to get to those places is rough, and you'll be tested like nobody's business all the time. Somebody will come into your life. I swear to God, they'll fucking say something or do something. It hits you in the fucking gut like a ton of bricks. It's a whole lesson that you need to learn and work through. You have this whole self-aware, emotional intelligence conversation with them. And then, they may, still be in your life, or they like leave and you're like, holy shit, like that was what they were here for. That's what they were here to teach me. I always say that people are in your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And it just depends on what it is they're there to teach you. And it also depends on what it is you're there to teach them. So it can be a really beautiful thing. I want to pull this episode together by saying being self-aware and emotionally intelligent helps you get to a point in a conversation where you can feel complete without anybody's emotions having to be at a specific state for that completeness. Completeness of a conversation, which I believe I've shared before, but I'm going to share it again now. Completeness of a conversation means I understand you, you understand me, where each of us is coming from. We don't have to agree, right? There isn't the right or wrong like we've talked about. I understand where you're coming from. You understand where I'm coming from. I understand your intentions, what you need, what you meant, what you mean. You understand my intentions, what I need, where my side of all of that. And we get to this common ground, this space of understanding. That conversation is complete. So it ends up feeling like I feel complete with the conversation. I'm still just processing my emotions. Done. So thank you, right? Like, thank you for this conversation. I feel complete with the conversation. I'm still fucking pissed though. And I just need you to know that. I don't need you to do anything because we just talked about all of that. I just need you to know I'm still fucking pissed. So ask for space, right? That's emotional intelligence. So I could just use a little space for a little while, or I'm just going to go for a walk and clear my head so I can be grounded, or I'm going to meditate, or I'm going to do a ritual, or I'm going to go draw, or whatever it is, go create, whatever it is, paint, and to get that reset, go tinker in the garden. It doesn't matter. What is it that you need now that this completeness has happened? Remember that I said this. Completeness in a conversation isn't about how each other feels at the end. Sometimes things are so emotionally charged that we just need some time and space for that charge to deplete. Okay? And sometimes things are said and we've got to a completeness and you feel good. Great. That was awesome. I'm so grateful for that. All right? So just know that. Be self-aware of what the fuck is going on inside of you, how you're feeling. Self-awareness also comes from knowing who the fuck you are. How, like, all the things. I love astrology. I love it. Dive into your birth chart. Learn you. Self-awareness is literally so supercharged when you understand the different areas of your birth chart, why you operate the way you do, what was going on in the planets when you were born, at the time you were born, at the location of them, and how that impacts you, how it impacts your communication, the way you love, the way you show up in the world, how it impacts you intimately. All of those things, knowing those things about you supercharges your self-awareness. If you don't learn about you, and you don't have to use astrology to do it, I just love it because it creates so much fucking clarity. You have no idea. So I like astrology for that because it gives you that. But either way, you've got to become self-aware of what the fuck is going on. And then once you have that self-awareness, it's that emotional intelligence. What are you going to do about it? What do you need? What action? What do you need once you acknowledge? All right? Remember this sacred truth. Say yes to yourself, for within you lies infinite worth. Let your heart be your compass, guiding you on a path of self-discovery and liberation. Grant yourself the grace to stumble and rise, for it is in our imperfections that we find our strength. Embrace that dance of progress, where each step forward fuels the fire within you. And with massive power and deep soul conviction, let this be your anthem, your unwavering declaration. I choose me. I'm Power Coach Alishia, and we'll see you next time. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Soul Fire podcast. You being here means the world to me, and I'm grateful for the time that you've dedicated to be here. And by consistently showing up, I firmly believe that you will transform your life. I'm so grateful that you've subscribed and you continue to share with others, spreading my message far and wide, because together we can reach my mission of transforming the lives of 1 million souls on their healing journey. Now, to provide you even more support on your soul healing journey and address any questions you may have, I would like to invite you to join our soul healing community. Simply visit community.thesoulhealingzone.com. Again, that's community.thesoulhealingzone.com, where you can connect with like-minded women, share your top takeaways, discuss what resonated with your soul, and express your absolute favorite moments from this episode. I can't wait to read them. I'm so freaking excited to create more empowering episodes and continue supporting you. I am sending you so much love, light, and peace as we journey through this thing called life.